A few years ago, I sent what I thought was a harmless email. A colleague had mentioned she couldn't make it to an event, and I responded with what I thought was a friendly line. "That's a shame, hope to see you next time." I honestly don't recall all the specifics of the entire exchange, but what I do remember was her response. She wrote back, "How dare you say shame to me? That's unacceptable," and she CC'd my manager. To her, shame was not a casual word. It was a deep insult. I must admit, with English being my third language, using a colloquial expression might not have been the best choice. But did I use it the wrong way? What I meant was to express light regret, and it turned into a serious offense. My first reaction was confusion. Why is she getting upset? I don't get it. I asked a few colleagues for their perspective, and only then I realized to her this word was more serious than I had anticipated. I went up to her afterwards and explained that in English, it was just a casual expression. She listened, but I'm not sure she really accepted it because she felt so insulted. Looking back, I'm grateful she reacted, because otherwise I may have never known. That moment taught me something essential. Our technical skills might open doors, but it's developing our cultural intelligence and how we handle differences that decides whether we can stay in different environments and thrive. Today, you graduate into a world that is more connected and more complex than ever. With the internet and social media, we are constantly interacting across borders. It can feel as though we're all the same, or that our way of thinking is the right way. But who decides what's right? Cultural differences show up in how we think, how we speak, even in the silence between words. And it's not just culture. Generational differences add another layer of complexity. The way Gen Z communicates may feel completely different from Gen X or millennials. The power of embracing differences can be immeasurable and requires a unique set of skills, such as curiosity, acceptance, and adaptability, and the ability to bridge those gaps and find what we have in common and make it work. These are the skills for the future. So how do we navigate these complexities? That's where empathy comes in. Empathy is the willingness to step into someone else's perspective before deciding how to respond. It's what allows us to see the world through another person's eyes. Over the years, I've worked with many nationalities in different countries. I learned how teams can adapt and thrive when different cultures come together. I was born and raised in Belgium. I operated in a very Eurocentric way. In meetings, I was expected to speak up, share details, and be direct. But not everyone feels empowered to do so. I have observed subject matter experts not challenging their own leadership, despite knowing that the direction they're going in is wrong, out of fear and imposter syndrome due to their gender, race, or background. These moments made me stop and reflect. I realized I couldn't assume everyone was on a level playing field, making a conscious decision to understand how the people around me feel empowered to speak up, asking questions and checking in with team members. That helped me to become a supportive advocate, and I'm still learning. That's empathy in practice, not just noticing the silence, but trying to see why it existed. When I came to Dubai 23 years ago, it was a bit of a culture shock. I initially assumed everyone worked, thought, and communicated like I did. They didn't. The efficiency and diligence I brought with me from having worked for 8 years in Germany didn't always resonate with my colleagues. What helped me was curiosity. I wanted to learn and understand, and slowly we made it work by combining each person's strengths. Sometimes the best way was simply to sit together, share a meal, and let the conversation flow. I mean, who doesn't love food? It can break barriers by learning about each other's cuisine and by extension about their culture. Living in the UAE has shown me what it means to make diversity fuel, rather than friction. A skyline like Dubai's is not only built on money, it's built on the combined strengths of people who don't see the world the same way, but still choose to build it together. Exploring differences can be like fuel. It drives you to learn, to grow. You don't have to agree with every cultural perspective, But with empathy, you can begin to understand why people act the way they do, and they may have strengths that you don't have, or connections that you can't make. That's what makes diversity powerful. Being open to others doesn't mean losing yourself. In fact, it's the opposite. The best leaders stay true to their values while being willing to learn from others. Integrity means your actions match your principles, especially when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. It's listening before speaking, asking instead of assuming, choosing respect over quick judgment, showing empathy when you don't immediately understand. And when misunderstandings happen, and they will, choosing to get curious instead of defensive. Class of 2025, the world doesn't just need graduates, it needs leaders who choose integrity, practice empathy, and turn difference into strength. So as you step forward, remember, your degree proves what you know, but your integrity and your empathy will decide how far you can go. Congratulations to all of you.